I mean, if you think about it, we literally just spend 10 minutes or
Coming up with a
more
name.
coming up with a name.
That's true.
We could have done it in a podcast,
Yeah.
you know, like we,
Yeah.
like, you know, we just
I think this
brainstorm,
is
we brainstorm, and then like people comment.
This is good enough for
Like,
a
like
co-open, I
the
think.
like the
Yeah.
2 family members will comment on our Facebook. You know, like that's the only first few followers we have lah.
That's true.
I think this is good for our co-open,
Okay.
where I can finally tell them our name, which is...
Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the first episode of our podcast. I'm Raja.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Ali. And
Together we are
Singapore
Singapore
Sling.
Sling.
Hey,
Okay, not bad, first try.
So why
Okay.
Singapore Sling?
Well, because the 3 of us met while working for an international airline that shall not be named.
But yes, we are Singaporeans, which is
Yep.
why we chose something that is uniquely Singapore. We tried Eurojak, we tried Lepak, Relax, and
Talk Cock,
Yeah.
Cock
Yeah.
Talk.
Basically, we wanted to jump on the podcast bandwagon, but you know what? We don't want to be like the other podcasts that have the names already mentioned lah.
So,
Ali, what's in a Singapore Sling?
Okay, I'm Muslim, so it's haram. So
Okay,
I cannot.
what about Tan? What's in a Singapore Sling?
I know there's Jean, there's Benedictine, there's Augustine Beaters, and
It's
Grenadine.
Angus Tura.
Yeah, it's
Angus
Angus
Tura.
Tura.
Angus Tura, Augustine Beaters.
Who-
yeah.
Augustine is
Augustine
my
is someone we
poly
know.
classmate.
Okay.
And someone we know called
Yeah.
Augustine.
But now that I've said 4, I would like...
Who? You like who? So that's going to be beeped out.
Yeah.
Okay, we cancel that part then. Okay, pause. Okay, now that I've said 4 of those ingredients, right, would Raja like to come in with the other 2?
There's Grenadine.
He
I
said
said Grenadine.
There is Augustine.
I
No.
said Angus Tura Beaters, you said Augustine again.
There is Ram.
No, there's no rum.
Ram is my classmate, so Ram. Ram, my army mate.
He's my army mate too. So basically, Ali and I were both in the same training school for our vocation. But I think we only knew of each other. We didn't really talk to each other back then.
We officially met at work lah.
Yeah, I think all 3 of us met at work. And there's someone talking really loudly outside our recording booth. Okay, she's gone. Yeah. So I mean, let's talk about something that's been really hot these past couple of days, and that's the whole saga about the TraceTogether. So for those of y'all who don't know, if you've been living under a rock, TraceTogether was first introduced, I think, sometime last year for the purpose of contact tracing for COVID.
Yeah, I think March.
Yeah. And at that time, they said that it would solely be used for contact tracing purposes.
Contract.
Shut up. For contact tracing purposes. And I think unbeknownst to all of us, in May 2020 last year, it was actually used in a criminal investigation for the murder at Punggol Fields, where a jogger was killed. I think it was less a random killing. It was quite
Yeah,
a
I think
senseless
one
thing.
night lah. Yeah, it just happened
Yeah,
one random night.
Very sad incident.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah. So I think recently one of the MPs brought it up in Parliament, right? That it could have been used for criminal purposes, or criminal investigation. Or
Criminal purposes.
well, if it's against the law, it's criminal.
Okay, yeah, to be used in criminal investigations, yeah.
So and then after that, they are introducing a bill right now where they say that it will be used for investigations in 7 different types of crimes, serious crimes like murder, kidnapping, rape, and stuff like that. So, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on this? I think the whole controversy basically is because that they are moving the goalposts, in the sense that initially they said that it won't be used, but now they are saying that it can be used for a crime.
I think for me personally, I'm not leaning towards any party. I can understand where people are coming from, because in a way it's like we are all caught off guard that we have this mentality where it's used for one thing, but as time goes on it develops into something else, which I think quite a number of people are uncomfortable with. But at the same time, I can see where the authorities are coming from, because at the end of the day it's used for, I can say it's used for good. Like in the case of the Punggol murder case, I'm sure
The case of the Punggol murder case.
the case sorry guys, we are actually quite professional, but no, it happens lah.
Yeah.
So see where I lost my train of thought.
In the
But
case of the Punggol murder case.
yes, that's right. Thank you, Raja. So I think if the family of the person affected, they would have a different view as to whether this is a boon or a bane. Like
Boon or Banes, you know. I haven't heard that since so secondary school social studies.
As you can see, his English is very proficient,
Yeah,
very professional.
Bombastic. Yeah?
yeah, and then so if I'm the family member of the person, I would definitely be for this whole thing where you want to use the TraceTogether app to capture the perpetrator. Then definitely by all means go ahead. Like I'm sure case by case. Like if it has not happened to you, I'm sure you have a different mindset. But when something happens to you, I'm sure you'll be swayed to something else.
No, but I think at the end of the day, we shouldn't let our emotions govern us, in the sense that if they can move it once, it might happen again. I'm not saying it will, but I think this is a fear that a lot of people have. And I mean, I think it's just a very emotional response to think of it as like, yes, if it could happen to you, of course, emotionally, I would also want to have the perpetrator caught, and if they can use the TraceTogether, why not? But at the same time, it's like, as a whole, as a country, does it really benefit us to have something like this? Personally, I think yes, but I can see why a lot of people are concerned about this. So, Tan, what do you think? What's your take on all this?
I mean, I agree with you in that sense. Like, I think it's going to benefit the country, but the problem is about breaking the citizens' trust and moving the goalposts, like you said. I mean, politically wise, you know, political parties have always said something, but they always just do something else afterwards. And
Not in Singapore, right? You mean?
I mean, if you look at it this way, like look at say America, for example. America, you know, they like to talk a lot of big shit, and then they say they're gonna do it, but the moment they're elected, it may not even happen at all. So I think the problem is that, or rather, citizens are concerned with the fact that, hey, you know, you guys can tell us this, but then you guys are doing something else. And like what you say, like what is stopping you from, you know, doing this again, from changing into something else after this whole COVID thing is done? Because let's put it this way, like you guys spend a lot of money creating the TraceTogether tokens, building up the app from scratch and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't think it's gonna go to waste just because COVID has ended. You know, like people are probably gonna have to start using it for something else, but what is the something else in the future? You get what I'm trying to say?
Well, I mean, I don't think there is a reason for the government to continue to implement or have a mandatory TraceTogether after COVID, if there is even an after COVID. I mean, if it's completely eliminated. But I can see why. I mean, I can sort of understand why they didn't really say at the start that it would be used for criminal investigations, because I mean, at that time everyone was scrambling to find a solution, and it was a pandemic. It's like a crisis mode, so it could be possible that, I mean, they didn't even consider that. Maybe their first priority was basically to just get it out as soon as possible for contact tracing, and I can sort of get that.
Yeah, I get that too, but yeah, it's more of like what would happen afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take for example, like when it was launched. In your personal opinions, if let's say the government has come up front and say that, okay, it's going to be used for contact tracing purposes and also in the aid of crime investigations up front, straight away, they say that, would you all be okay with it?
I think I'll be okay with it if they specifically, like, as in if they specifically define what crimes it will be used for, then yeah, I'll be fine with that.
Same on my side. Yeah.
But although, I think if you think about it, if you don't commit any crimes, you don't really need to be worried about it.
Yeah, correct. Which brings me to another question. Would you guys rather have the government know your whereabouts or your girlfriends know your whereabouts?
Well, I've got nothing to
Raja,
hide.
please answer. Government or girlfriend?
Okay, so
No. Let's not move away
would
from this
I
topic.
rather have the government or my girlfriend
Know
my
where your
whereabouts?
box 24/7.
I am okay with both of them knowing my whereabouts because I have nothing to hide. How about you, Ali?
Tan, what about you, Tan?
Ali, come on, answer the question first.
I mean, my girlfriend can have my TraceTogether data because
Did you say your girlfriends?
my girlfriend can have
Oh.
my TraceTogether data because if she just checks, I'll probably be at the mosque or at home.
Wow, what a
Oh.
religious, pious boy you are.
Hmm.
What about you, Tan?
I'm okay lah. I'm okay. I mean, government-wise, I don't know, man. Cause even though they are the government, but they are not people that I really know.
Okay,
So
okay.
in terms of like privacy-wise, I don't think I would like to share that kind of information with them. But my girlfriend, yeah, for sure. I mean, I used to have an ex who I would have to report my whereabouts to her.
Report strike.
Yeah, every single time. So I was okay with it because it sets her mind at ease, or rather, it doesn't really affect her at all. Cause
But would you say
She was very
she's
insecure lah,
she's
yeah.
clingy and insecure?
oh yeah, for sure. She's
What's her name, bro? What's her name?
I mean, if she knows, she knows lah. So
Start with what letter?
Yeah.
Huh?
Start with X, Y,
it's the same letter as Raja lah. So
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I think we all know who.
I mean,
Yeah.
she was very insecure, but despite that, I'll still tell her where I am, what I'm doing, and all that kind of stuff. Like, what is my plan for that day and all that. Yeah. So, for me, I feel that it's okay
Yep.
for my girlfriend to know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's just that maybe for strangers wise, I don't think
Not too
I would like to.
comfortable with it lah.
Yeah, because after all, it's like, who knows, right?
Yeah.
If you think about it, somebody can just take that information and find you or do something to you. That's how crimes happen in the first
I
place,
mean,
right?
true, but if you think about it, Singapore, there are 5 million people.
Mhm.
What makes you think that they will zoom in specifically on
Yeah.
you?
What
to-
makes
to
you
see-
special
Yeah,
or
exactly.
different? Yeah. I'm not
Exactly.
saying you're nobody. I mean,
I mean, you are.
we're all,
I mean,
we're
yeah,
all,
I am a
we're all-
nobody, I
we're
am a
all
nobody.
friends here. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I am a nobody.
Yeah, why would they specifically? I think that's one of the reasons why I'm sort of okay with it. It's because there are so many people.
Mhm.
There's no reason for them to specifically come and find me. But at the same time, I get where you're coming from. It's just something to put your mind at ease lah.
Mhm.
But I mean, at the same, okay, like, what if say something happens to your immediate family,
Okay.
and then people want to find you, like say loan sharks, for example. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, yes, I mean, this is not going along with the whole TraceTogether thing,
Uh-huh.
but like, if say like, example, a friend of yours owes money to the loan sharks,
Okay.
owes some money,
Mm.
from loan sharks, and
Uh-huh.
then instead of finding them, they want to find people that your friend cares about, aka their family members, aka you.
Yeah.
And if that information were to be right outside, then it will be that will leave you quite vulnerable, isn't it?
That's true lah. That's true. I mean, I think recently there have been a lot of concerns about privacy, especially with I don't know if you all saw the news, but I think there was another big fuss about, I think the MOE or schools wanted to install some software into the students' laptops where they
Oh, is
can
it?
where they can track what they're doing or see what's in their browser or something like that.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
this is a thing.
It's a new thing. So I don't know if it is for all schools or is it only for some schools. I haven't really read up on this topic, but I mean, it's another thing about privacy lah.
I feel that is a big breach because when you are using your own computer.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like your computer, your phones, for that matter, is your personal belongings.
I think it's
I mean,
okay.
it's called a personal
I mean,
computer. It's called a PC,
if the
right?
school give you the laptop for free, I think okay, fair enough. They can install by all means.
Okay.
It's just like your work laptop basically.
Yeah.
But if it's your own personal one, then no lah.
Precisely,
Yeah,
because
definitely
it's your
that's
personal
a no
laptop.
from me.
So
lah.
so do you all think that outside of school time, a school should be able to not say dictate, but a school should be able to like sort of control how a student acts or behave outside of school time?
No.
No.
I mean, school
For me,
isn't.
I mean, because you are a member of the school, a student of the school, you
Mhm.
sort of represent the school. I think for me is if you are, as long as you're in school uniform,
Mm.
then yeah, maybe the school has it, right? Even though it's outside
Okay, I mean,
the school
if you're in a
band.
school uniform, yes, because you technically you still represent the school. But the question being, if you're not in uniform and you're free to do whatever you want, then why would the school still have to keep track or rather know what exactly you're doing?
I mean,
You know.
okay, so we all agree, can I say that as long as you are in the uniform,
Mm.
even if it's outside of school hours or in school hours, the school can sort of have a say in what you do.
Yeah, because when you wear the uniform, you represent the entity, right? You represent the school. It's just like how you're in army, you know.
Yeah. So okay, so in that case, then what do you all think about the case about the transgender student? I think her name is Ashley, a male to female transgender student. Basically, the story behind it is that I think she wanted to go for some therapy, hormone therapy or something like that. But apparently, according to her, MOE blocked the doctor, or rather stopped the doctor from proceeding with this treatment because they said that the MOE students are under their control.
But this is it's a viewpoint, but has MOE actually came out to...
That's the thing, MOE denied it. So the thing is, there is no physical evidence that we have seen that shows that MOE actually told the doctor
So
that.
from what we have now, it's all one-sided lah, from the perspective of this particular person lah.
Yeah, you can say so lah.
It's all just speculation for now.
I mean, she claims that's the case that happened. I'm sure she has some proof. I hope she has some proof, but we haven't seen any proof. That's the thing. So okay, so apparently on top of that, like in the school, right, the principal said that she's not allowed to have long hair, and she cannot wear female uniform, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yep, correct.
So I mean, personally, what do you guys think? Personally, I feel that okay, fair enough. If you haven't undergone the surgery or the treatment yet, then yeah, I think no choice lah. I mean, you just have to present as a male for the time. What do you all think?
I think for us, because we are all in the same age group. Back then we were in school, you know, we didn't really have this kind of issues to deal with because back then it was still very closed off.
Yeah.
Generally, I have friends who I know they were in the closet. They just stayed there because they were afraid of they were afraid of the consequences.
The backlash.
Yeah, the backlash, you know, and people saying stuff and the kind of things. I feel that personally she's quite brave for
Yeah, definitely.
for speaking out on this matter and even like wanting to go with the operation. But
Do you think that with the, how do I put it, with the advancement in media and social media, this wouldn't have happened back then, and then you know now I guess we are moving in a very fast-paced world and people have many ways of expressing views. And
I think it's basically easier to get the news out. Basically, it's easier to go viral. Back then, not so. I mean, at most it's a newspaper.
So basically nowadays it's more of virality sells lah. That's how you get attention, validation.
Yeah,
by
but
others lah.
the thing is, I don't know if she's just doing it for validation until we see some solid evidence. Right now, it's just her word against MOE's word. And if you ask me,
Okay, if you were put in her position,
yeah,
and I think she's 18, is it no?
I think so.
She's 18 now, and maybe she's in what, JC?
Yep.
So maybe JC after that has to go to NS because...
No, I think she transferred out of JC to Poly, if I'm not wrong, because of this.
Oh, okay. So if you were put in her position in the current climate now,
Yeah.
would you conform to the school standards, and then maybe even you have to serve NS, and then after that, once you are out and free from anything, you are free to do anything, only then would you...
I think it's a bit hard to say because for these people because she has an actual diagnosis for this gender dysphoria, for them I think it can cause significant mental trauma to have to present as something they are not. But at the same time, like in our time, right, it's like basically you just suck it up. You just
stick to the status
quo. I think
quo.
it was a very taboo thing to talk about back then also. But
it's more of a you just tahan until you finish NS and then.
I mean, personally, I have friends who come out of the closet even during NS or even before during NS. They already identify as they are not conforming to like I'm born a guy, I should be a guy. You know, but the thing is, like what I said, they tahan until after NS and they want to do whatever they want, they do. I feel like, I mean, I can't speak for this particular individual, but it's another way to go about with this lah, instead of, you know, maybe going.
But I mean, at the same time, I don't see why there is a need for them to stop someone from being themselves. I think it's very old-fashioned to think, like, you know, last time they say male cannot have long hair. You cannot go to like certain.
Yeah, it was basically for those younger listeners out there. Yeah. There was this point in time in
I think the 60s,
70s where male Singaporeans were not allowed to have long hair, and if they did have long hair, they would be barred from like some places as they will be seen as a
like a hippie or
it's basically the hippie culture. They don't want to bring it into Singapore.
So it's the same thing. I don't see why there is a reason that they should block her from having this treatment. I mean, it's not going to affect anyone, but something that I found quite interesting or disturbing maybe is the fact that the principal actually said that it is as disruptive as a student with severe autism. If she were to have to present herself, to wear, I think what, the female uniform as a male or something like that. So I mean, it's like, why do you suddenly bring up autistic students?
Yeah, you could have just said like it will be just disruptive, full stop, and you know what I mean, like,
or severely destructive. Yeah. So, but I mean, personally, I don't feel there's a reason to lah. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys?
I think I see where you're coming from lah. Like but like brings me to another point. Like, do you think that if, let's say, MOE were to allow her to continue this thing, would it in the future bring about a trend where students will start coming out early, and then in schools you have this, I wouldn't say problem, because it is not a problem, and then where, you know, all of a sudden maybe your friend out of nowhere comes out and say, I don't feel like I'm a guy or a girl, and then where you have guys wearing girls uniform in school and girls wearing guys uniform in school. Do you think it will bring about a trend if, let's say, MOE were to come out and say, okay, this is allowed?
I think, okay, the uniform part, I can sort of get it, like, as long as the person has undergone that treatment, yeah, okay. But the thing is, think about it. I mean, just remember, think back when you were in school, right? Would you, as a guy, I mean, a straight, like non-transgender guy, right, want to wear a female uniform to school? No, right? So I don't think like students were anyhow, you know, hey, I want to wear a female uniform. It's quite an embarrassing thing as a straight guy for us back then. I don't know.
So you would just keep quiet and just carry on, like, you know what I mean?
No, as in, I think it's fine, as in, it's not a problem if MOE allows it, because I don't think that people will frivolously go and wear like a female uniform. Especially if they have to stick with it for the 4 years or 6 years or 10 years of education. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, for me, I feel that if you are going to rock the boat, right, you should expect some water in the boat. You know, you like
Confucius say.
Like I mean, there's definitely gonna be some stuff happening. Plus, like what Ali said, we are in this fast-paced world. A lot of things are.
You almost say my name, right?
Yeah, your name lah, Ali.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like I mean, in this very fast-paced world, there are a lot of things changing. I mean, if you think about it, right, back in our days, right, there isn't this kind of cases. But if there were, right, I think the main concern would be when they go to the toilet. Which one will they go to? You get what I'm saying?
That's true.
Yeah. Like, but now it's more of like the visuals. Like,
yeah, I mean, I can link to what my question earlier on. I didn't think about that toilet.
Yeah. Actually, can you imagine if like you're like some secondary school horny pervert kid, right? You want to go to the girls' toilet, so you just pretend to be a girl.
Precisely. And I feel that there can be people who are dumb enough to use that excuse.
But actually, I think, okay, sorry to interrupt, but I think one way this can be avoided is they are only allowed to do this if they have actual medical diagnosis from a doctor. I think that will cut down a lot of these kind of cases.
That would mean, really trusting the the doctors.
The docs.
Yeah,
Nothing
trusting
against
the
doctors.
trusting the doctors. Yeah, and on like on their analysis and their diagnosis
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, like
Is there an actual like way that they can tell though? I mean,
Yeah,
other
would
than-
it be just as easy as, let's say, me as a
I'm sick, I got fever, give me
as
MC.
a 17-year-old in poly, let's say, or I say, doctor, I identify myself as a female, and then from there I get my proper
certifications.
in quotes, proper certification, and then I use it as a tool for me to carry out other things like what you have mentioned earlier on, like, use the toilets and whatnot. Would it be a loophole?
That's true. I mean,
To be honest, I think it will be because I mean in Singapore we consist of a lot of different kinds of people. There are people who are very, very open-minded. There are people who are still very, very close-minded.
yeah. So
Like,
people
can you
those
imagine-
NUS students?
Yeah, I mean, can you
Can't really
imagine going out to shopping malls
yeah.
and you being transgender? Maybe you don't feel the need to wear makeup on that day or whatsoever. I'm just saying, like, in terms of like Ashley's point of view.
Okay.
You don't feel you need to wear makeup. You still sort of look like a
The guy.
boy or a man, so to speak, and you need to use the toilet. There will be aunties in the female toilet
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what are you doing here? Aren't you a guy?
Well, there's always the
You
handicap
know?
toilet.
Yeah. But imagine if that was the case, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
handicap
yeah.
toilet is occupied as well.
True,
does
true.
she does Ashley have the need to like produce a certificate every time she uses the toilet? Like,
Yeah.
hey,
I
I'm
get
a
what you mean, I get what you
transgender, I am a female now, I have the right to use this toilet. I think it'll be hard for
Yeah, but at
People
the same time,
accept
I
all
don't think
this.
there are so many cases that they actually need to start to relook at the infrastructure to whether they need to build like a third toilet. I don't think there is a need because there isn't that many people. But,
precisely. But
okay, so I don't know if you guys have been, but I remember back then in Tampines Interchange there was a unisex toilet. So basically it's just anyone, guy or girl, you can go in. So I don't know if that would be a better solution.
I mean, that would be a better solution, but then that would also mean taking up a lot more space because you must have individual doors and
I think all toilets have cubicles though.
sinks and all
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
correct.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
as a female, I wouldn't be comfortable like having a meal in the toilet.
Since we are on the topic of toilets, right? So I have one incident to relate where there was this one time I was at Toa Payoh interchange. I needed to pee, so I went to the toilet. So as guys, we usually use the urinals lah. We don't really use the cubicles unless we need to
Big business.
big business lah. So I was peeing halfway, and there was this guy, his old man lah, who was there. From the moment I came in, he was already there.
From the moment you came, okay.
And then and just so happened the empty urinal happened to be beside him. So I was peeing halfway, he was still there. So the thing is, when you're peeing for guys, we just stand there, our hands are probably on the wall or just
Yeah,
how
yeah.
we do it lah. But this guy, from the corner of my eye, I noticed this guy's hands were moving.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
So
man.
and like
Was he looking at you?
I felt uncomfortable. So from the corner, I just took a peek. He was on my left, so I looked to the left. He was looking in my direction and looking down.
Oh man.
And his hands was
Maybe you're shaking out your shoes.
no lah. His hands was where his dick was lah, basically, and he was masturbating lah. Just long story short, he was masturbating.
Seriously?
Lah. Yeah. So I quickly wrapped up and I left the toilet lah. So
What an attractive man you are.
yeah, just putting it out there. I'm attractive to guys also.
To uncles, creepy uncles.
Yeah, and this is not an isolated incident. I've heard stories of in Bishan, in Clementi.
Bishan, there's a guy that famously known as the Bishan gay, right? He like targets those like secondary school kids and stuff like that.
I
Apparently,
have
lah.
no idea, but
Yeah, for those boys in Raffles, I think you might know.
but now Raffles girls is just there as well.
Oh, okay.
They move eh.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, so hard to say lah. I mean, on one hand, I feel for these people who like they feel they don't fit into society, but on the other hand, I think it's a bit tough for like for infrastructural changes in Singapore just because of this. Yeah.
So okay, we get onto a lighter topic lah. What are you guys' thoughts on having a transgender friend?
Okay, I think that's...
Do you guys have any friends who identify themselves as transgender, or maybe
Not transgender, but gay and lesbian for sure,
yeah.
bisexuals, yeah.
I think that's quite different though, in that sense. Because, okay, so if a transgender, right, let's say a male to female transgender ends up falling in love with a female, are they lesbian or are they considered straight? I think it's considered lesbian, right?
Okay, this one.
Because they are male to female.
this
so
one-
That is being straight with extra steps.
This one through my research
okay.
on certain websites
Start with X.
start with X, as X animal
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it happens but I mean some people have kinks where it's their king so I'm sure if there is a specific category on that particular website, it happens outside I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know how to label, I won't say label
I mean not label, but as in what they are defined as.
yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think I have any transgender friends.
No,
How about you guys?
none.
I don't have a specifically transgender friend, but I know of the people from the LGBT community
Yep.
that, and I feel like they are quite fun to hang out with
Isn't that stereotyping them? Even though it's a positive stereotype.
No, I just feel like, I mean, they are like any other person but it feels like they are more fun to hang out with because
They find you attractive?
I need the validation
No, I think it's more of like the kind of topics that they
the
have,
kind of things
you
you talk with
the
them.
kind of experiences that they
correct.
have that is interesting, because we don't live their life,
Yeah, correct.
and they don't live ours, so
In a way, we get to understand their perspectives also
yeah, and from that and if you're open-minded enough, it becomes interesting.
Yeah, but Ali, I mean, since we're on this topic, as a Malay Muslim, right? Do you have any friends who are Malay Muslim as well, who are from the LGBT community? And how is it how is the acceptance from their family or from the community?
Okay, I don't have a personal a close friend or family which is in that situation, but I know of someone who was in the closet all this while.
Okay.
But it was
Obvious to everyone else?
it is obvious to everyone else.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then the way he looks, I mean not the way he looks, the way he portrays himself is one look you will definitely be able to tell
Okay.
But unknown to his family for very long, I think maybe 26, 27 years of his life, his family does not know, but it was brought into light by someone who is an external party basically.
So it was against his will that it was made known to everyone.
Correct, yes. An external party actually highlighted it to his family.
Wow, that
so
sucks.
it caused a bit of a hoo-ha. I didn't really personally ask him, I didn't delve much into it, I didn't probe, but it caused a bit of a hoo-ha I think to me, if someone wants to come out, let it be from them not from someone else, because I wouldn't say the family feels betrayed, but it's just better that way. When you are ready, at your own pace, you want to come out, go ahead. But okay, many people people, conservatives out there from the Malay Muslim community will definitely slam this person because in religion it's against the religion. But for me personally, I wouldn't say I'm a liberal Muslim or a non-conforming Muslim, but I can learn to accept. I mean, it's not I can learn to accept, I already accept people who are from this community. I feel there's no wrong, they're just like you and me, and you don't know what they feel unless you are put in their shoes. You don't know about their mental state, because this whole mental issue is a very sensitive topic because you have to experience it to be able to really understand it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel personally, from a religious perspective, right, is between that person and their respective God. I mean, why should we interfere in it, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we are all accountable for our own actions. So just treat them as a normal person lah. But yeah, I think it's very sad to see people who are alienated for being themselves lah.
Do you feel that with time, we have many generations in Singapore lah. Basically, the olden days people, there was no such thing as media.
Yeah.
The only media you get is TV, newspapers, where the only news you get is on the specific time slot and on a specific place. And then there comes our generation who are we are the Facebook generation. Twitter came around our time.
I think so.
Yeah, and then now there's the newer generation like your TikTok, your whatever. Do you think that TikTok, the older generation, let's put them as the newspaper generation, do you think they will be obsolete, and moving forward people will be more accepting? Because personally I feel that the people from that generation are the ones who are more critical on what is not conforming to society.
But how to say, because sometimes they pass on their perspectives, outdated as they may be, to their kids.
I agree.
Yeah, and I do know some like hyper religious. I mean, nothing against religious people, but some hyper religious people who are also not very how do I put it? Not very accepting towards these kinds of things. Or from the younger generation.
But do you think that the majority will be more accepting?
I think definitely lah.
Because I think we are seeing it now, like people are more brave to come out, and like back then maybe put 30-40 years ago, people would be more reserved and not willing to come out as compared to now.
I think it's also because of the mindset lah. Because back then it's all about suck it up, just endure,
Suck what?
conform, stick to the status quo. But nowadays, it's all about empowerment. We have people who are starting to speak up for themselves. I think it's for sure lah that we are gonna definitely be more accepting to people of to people that
other lifestyles.
They are different from us.
Okay, so I mean, since we are in this topic, I think now would be a perfect time for Raja. Do you want to come out and
Well guys, I'm glad you brought this up. We've known each other for a couple of years, and
we've slept in the same beds also.
Actually, I'm straight lah.
I mean, okay, let's put it this way: we are all straight, but we
But what?
no, as in, we are very open-minded. We are very free-spirited, and we would like for you guys to do the same also.
So
like really just be yourselves, and
I think sometimes people have they're a bit afraid to have gay friends because they say what if the gay person likes me?
Yeah.
And then today I have to say, I mean, don't think too highly of yourself.
I think if you ask me, if a gay person likes you, I think it's something that it's a compliment lah. I think like how I say, like I have gay friends who who are good friends with me. So it's kind of a
I mean, just because you're gay doesn't mean you go around liking all the guys or all.
You want to say liking or you want to say other things? Go around liking.
But yeah.
I mean, for me, I feel it doesn't matter, like who you are, how you are. You can be gay, you can be lesbian, but at the end of the day, you just have to behave as a normal person.
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to tell you to if you're gay, but you still have to behave like you are a guy, that kind of thing. What I'm trying to say is behave human. Behave human. Like just because you're gay, you don't go up and I don't know, inappropriately touch other people just because.
Just say
Huh?
Molest, right? You want to say molest?
Yeah. I mean,
so are you speaking from experience?
I mean, it's not like.
Sounds very heated about it.
I wouldn't say molest, but it's cause generally guys, we can be a bit more touchy also.
Okay, maybe for example, let me just try to paint a picture lah. Maybe they don't go around let's say you meet them in Bali maybe. In Bali, and then you all go to a club, so you won't necessarily say that these guys who are gay, they'll necessarily go around touching you.
Yeah, of course
right?
not. Yeah.
When you're dancing on the dance floor, buy you a drink.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I mean, I don't know, like, what, dude, see?
So for those who are wondering what's going on, this actually happened to us.
Not us lah, happened to
Us
one
lah.
of us lah.
Yeah, one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel as long as you don't hurt anyone else, you're not inconveniencing others unfairly, I think it's fine lah. Just do
I
whatever you
mean,
want.
okay, be it you're a guy or a girl or a gay or lesbian or whatsoever, just, yeah, behave as you are as a human. I mean, if the person is really not interested and he or she says no, then just stop it right there and there lah. There's no need to, keep like pushing the limit as if like something is gonna happen, because it's not gonna happen,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I think that applies for both homosexual and heterosexual.
Yeah, precisely.
people.
Like, I would say be free to be who you are, who you really are.
Yeah.
Express yourself and all that, but at the same time, as much as other people respect your right to be yourself, you should also respect other people in their way as well. If they say no, then yeah, just get it and fuck off.
No means no lah.
Yeah.
Okay, so just I think to wrap up, basically we don't speak for everyone, but from the three of us, we just put it out there that we are accepting of everyone lah. We love everyone equally lah.
And this is not to like like to prevent backlash on us whatsoever.
Yeah.
We are very okay, we like we are very okay. We really have friends who are
I think being in the airline industry, I think there are surprisingly, I mean this may be anecdotal, but there are quite as a higher number of people from the LGBT community in the airlines. So have you all had any like I wouldn't say encounters, that makes it sound like there are some aliens, but any like experiences, positive or negative, with this sort of thing? I think people will be quite interested to hear.
Yeah, I think if you ask me, I would love to have someone who is, how do I put it? How do I wouldn't want to brand them as from this community. I mean, like what you say, people who are gay. As a guy in the airline, I feel like it's a plus point for us because they tend to be nicer to us.
Really, I found it, okay, again, this is from my own experience, I found it a bit harder to work with them.
Okay, this is for me just personally lah, because let's say even a superior or person of another rank who is gay, let's just put it out there, gay. Let's just be comfortable with the word lah.
Yeah.
Okay, just someone who's gay, I feel protected because
Actually,
they tend to side you because naturally they like guys. Okay, naturally they lean more towards guys lah. They are closer to guys, and they see some of them. I can see in them where they see the my female colleagues, female crew as a competitor to them.
I think, okay, maybe instead of putting it that way, right, I think the other way we can look at it is that straight guys, right, of the superiors, they might be more inclined to be lenient towards the girls because they are attracted to them.
Correct.
But whereas our gay like superiors, they are less inclined because they don't have to deal with that sort of like illusion, that this girl is attractive, or they don't have to deal with that bullshit.
Correct.
To them, they are just the same. So yeah, I find it easier, but I feel like of the same rank, right? It's, for me, I find it a bit tougher to work with.
I think for me
guys.
it's I mean it's work politics lah.
Yeah.
I mean, end of the day it's politics because you have to, not say you have to, but I would say I play my cards right lah. Like you okay, when you work environment, you treat them nicely, they treat you even nicer. You don't even have to like suck up to them in the literal sense or even in the metaphorical sense lah. But yeah, you treat them nice, they treat you nice, they treat you nicer. Like even from the same rank, I think just be nice to them and they will act the same way back to you lah. They won't really. I've never had a bad experience with somebody who is gay lah.
I mean,
but then again, I feel like in gays, when you test their patience, that's when you will see their ugly side lah.
I think that's the same for everyone lah.
Yeah,
not just
as
gays,
with everyone.
Yeah, but I don't know, is this a stereotype, but I feel like generally like the gay guys I've worked with, yes, they are nice, but at the same time they can be a bit, some of them can be a bit like catty or bitchy, which
But
is not something I like in a coworker.
I understand where you're coming from, but that is the fun thing, you know.
I mean,
You know,
like, even if it's not towards you, right? Even if it's to other colleagues, I think it affects the whole working atmosphere, which is why I find it a bit difficult to work with them. Yeah, I don't think it has been directed at me, but sometimes towards the girls, they are a bit catty or bitchy. And then that makes it harder to work lah. You know, you need to listen. Then after you need to come to hear the girls come to bitch and talk to you about the guy. Then the guy will come and then talk to you about the girl. Then you're just stuck in the middle.
Yeah, but I think about a job, I think is that you won't. I mean, it's not say you will never see them anymore in your life, but it's a higher chance where you'll be seeing other people compared to. You'll be seeing other people lah. Your work environment changes lah. Every flight is a different flight.
Correct.
So it's a form of, I don't know if I'm just like say this for saying this, but it's a form of entertainment lah. Like, you know, day in day out you're doing the same things over and over again, but it's just these little things, the people around you that makes things fun. Every work day is a different day compared to, you know, maybe you're working under the same boss every day with the same co-workers, and if you don't like them, you're stuck with them.
Agreed. But I think it also helps you to like sort of build your people skills. Like, you learn how to adapt to different kind of like working style, different kind of people, your people management skills basically.
Yeah, correct.
How you manage your superiors, how you manage your peers, or even those under you.
Yeah, I think that's a very key takeaway from our jobs lah. So I mean, Raja is no longer with us anymore.
That sounds like I died.
No longer with the company anymore. But
Yeah.
I'm sure what some positives that you have picked up from the.
I think, okay, before I joined the airlines, I was quite, I wouldn't say shy, but I feel like I really found myself.
I was a military police.
I think I really found myself in the airlines in terms of how I present myself or come across to other people. I mean, like, closed doors amongst friends, I'm still like myself, right? But when I'm like meeting new people, I'm a lot more confident. Especially in the airlines, I don't think you have the time or the capacity to be like shy or anything like that. You are just meeting strangers like almost every flight.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned earlier, like my people management skills are also another thing that I've taken away. As well as, you know, the ability to just, even if the person is being annoying or like unpleasant, you still can smile at them and just move on. Yeah.
I think in the airlines you learn how to wear masks. Do you think you learn how to put on different masks?
Can say so.
Like, I mean, even if you can be this person one day, another person another day, depending on your environment.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think especially when dealing with passengers, sometimes, you no matter how like shitty of a day you had at home or like before the flight, or even if you like kena F upside down by your boss or whatever, when you're dealing with the passenger, you still have to have that, you know, that smile.
Yeah, because you're in uniform and you're representing that brand, right?
Yeah, correct. It's about being professional, like, basically.
Yeah.
So personal problems out.
Yep. So Tan, since Raja brought up the topic of passengers or even getting fucked lah, in the sense by your superiors, any interesting stories which you might want to share?
Interesting stories.
Any like passenger encounters?
Yeah, passenger. I mean, we start with passengers lah. Any unruly passengers, you know?
I mean, okay. There was once I was on this very short flight. It was a family of 4.
Okay.
So that being a short flight, as we all know, you are only given choice A and choice B for the meals.
Yep.
So apparently choice A was very popular and we ran out of it pretty fast.
Common problem.
Common problem.
In the airlines.
And for us, the standard answer would be to, you know, say sorry, offer alternatives, and see what else we can do for the passenger. So when I got to that passenger, he was pretty pissed off because he said this, hey, you know, I paid quite a lot of money for these seats and all I wanted was the meal, was the choice A, but you guys can't even provide that, you know, like, what kind of airline are you guys? And I just felt a little bit irritated because, dude, I mean, it's like a 2-hour flight. You know, when you land
Where was this 2 hours? Jakarta.
Bangkok,
Oh.
Okay.
you know, when you land, you're gonna have your fill of mango sticky rice, pad thai, you know, your boat noodle, all the authentic good Thai food that you're gonna have. And even if you say, you know, you wanna have like some chicken rice or something, it's definitely there, and it's, you know, in a sense like way healthier, or rather I would say fresh,
Yeah.
because they just cooked it, you know, it's piping
Yeah,
hot.
yeah.
So I don't get why you as a passenger, you have to create such a ruckus and sort of like insult us just because
Yeah.
we don't have
I
your
mean,
preferred choice of meal.
I can understand the frustration, like you don't, because they don't have a choice, but
Yeah.
it's not the crew's fault.
Yeah.
For anyone who's okay, not anytime soon, but in the future when you fly this, please remember it's not the crew's fault that they ran out of meals.
I mean, if I have one, I'll definitely give it to
Yeah,
you.
it's not that we purposely don't want to give you,
Yeah,
hold it back
yeah.
from you.
I think if you ask me personally, it's a unsaid rule where, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean it's up to those of you outside listening to prove me otherwise. Like for us it's the brand. Like I fly with you, I pay this certain premium, I expect to get whatever I want. Because to them, I mean in layman's term, I buy the ticket, I own you for that 2 hours. Do you think that's the mentality that the people out there have? I mean, especially specifically to Singaporeans lah. Do you think that's the mentality, like I am a Singaporean, I fly with you, I pay this price, I deserve everything that I want? Do you get that?
I do get that kind of vibe
Yeah.
sometimes, actually, to be honest. A bit of entitlement.
Mm.
But at the same time,
I don't think it's a bit, it's a lot.
and also the fact that we are trained to be composed and calm, and also be we cater to almost everyone's request. Even though if we don't have something, we tend to
We go
provide
above and
alternatives.
beyond,
Yeah,
lah.
we go above and beyond. So do you think that? So I feel that in a way we are taken for granted.
but to be fair, right, they are paying for this experience.
Mhm.
So okay, I can't really fault them for like expecting a certain standard or expecting certain things, but at the same time, you shouldn't go overboard lah. Basically, you shouldn't blame the crew. I mean, if the crew is rude to you, then yeah, by all means, write them in or what. But if it's something that's out of their control, like example, they ran out of the meals. What's the crew going to do? You are in the middle of the air, like what, 40,000 feet.
But you know, okay, the thing is, let's say I'm a passenger.
Well, sometimes people just want to do it for the free
Because
upgrade, which they think they get.
this is a personal experience.
Ah.
Like this passenger has no choice of meal.
Yeah.
You say, and the first thing that will come out from their mouth is, "What kind of airline are you?"
Mm.
Oh, I never got
Yeah,
that before.
that is a very standard thing. What kind of airline are you? You are so and so. You are I expect so as this
Standard
certain
of service.
standard of service. Like how can this happen? Whereas I feel like if it were to happen on other airlines, they wouldn't be saying that, because I have personally experienced where the passengers were no choice of meal. So the crew were just, this is what we have, you either eat or you don't. So
Other airlines lah.
yeah, other airlines. So I still feel back to, we are being taken for granted because we are representing this brand.
I mean, okay, look, at the end of the day, there is this one thing called special meal requests,
Yep.
which I just remembered. He didn't have any special meal requests, and I feel that, you know, it is part of the service as well, right? If
Yeah.
you really want to have something, you can always just request for it prior to your flight. And in that case, if you really want to have, say, like seafood, you can ask for it. If you really want to have chicken, you can ask for it. Yeah. So, like, by not submitting that request, you're sort of like just leaving it.
Do they have to pay extra for a special meal? Actually, I'm not
No.
No, they do not.
No, they don't.
They just have to put it out in a request. For those listening out there, you want some special diet, 24 hours before your flight, write in to the
Yeah, if
airline.
you have like a
Yeah.
vegetarian, if you're vegetarian
Yeah.
or gluten free,
Yeah.
you can even request for child meal.
Yeah, do not do it at the gate or at the check-in counter and expect it to be there. When it comes to that, it's on a try my best basis.
Correct,
So
correct.
if it doesn't come, it doesn't come. Do not, go on board and say, "Oh, I already told the counter staff that."
Yeah.
So you told the counter staff how long ago? Half an hour ago, is
Yeah.
is if it's there, it's a bonus for you. If not, then I would say just
Tough lah.
suck it up lah.
Suck it.
Suck it up lah. Yeah.
Suck it.
So I think airline stories, I think even though we are not very long in this industry, we have a lot of stories.
Okay, I mean, couple of years already. I think.
Yeah, I think we can cover that furthermore in the next episode.
The next episodes
yeah.
lah. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think based on everything that we talked today, I think just treat people how you want to be treated lah.
Yeah.
Basically, I think that's the moral. Be it airlines, transgender people, gay people, whatever. Just treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for listening to our first episode. We hope to improve.
Yeah, just starting out lah. So we're still finding our sound. We're still experimenting with equipment.
Yeah. So please stick with us, and we hope to bring you more entertainment as we go along.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Ali.
Tan,
and Raja, and we are
Singapore Sling.
Oh yeah.